Hi everybody, welcome to this next episode of Cook Along with Tommo. Today we're making a Korean style rice dish with beef. We've got some lovely cooked brisket here. We had brisket at the weekend for our Sunday lunch. So I've got leftover brisket, about 200 grams, 7 ounces of that. The other ingredients, I've got 5 eggs, half a Savoy cabbage, a red chilli and a couple of garlic cloves. I've got some coriander, that's optional, that's just to dress it at the end. Barbecue sauce, hot sauce, sesame oil, some soy sauce. I've got whole grain brown basmati rice, but white basmati is fine. Some sesame seeds, a couple of 100 grams of mushrooms. I've measured out the water here. This is going to be to cook the rice. I'm going to show you a quick and easy method to get perfect rice every time. Safety involved in this particular recipe, I would say we're going to be using some knife skills. And we're going to use the hob. So obviously be careful on the hob, make sure you don't burn yourself. But other than that, it should be fairly straightforward. To start with, what I'm going to do is make one sort of large builder's mug, measure out 1 builder's mug of the rice. So that goes into our mug here. This will easily serve 4 people. So I want a nice builder's mug of rice. That goes into the pan on the hob. And then to that, I'd normally obviously just use the tap, but I've got the water measured out here. I add 2 further mugs of cold water. So there's 1. And there's the second. Now we're going to cook that according to the packet instructions, which is for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to pop the lid on. Try not to take the lid off and turn on the gas. So that's going to cook for 20 minutes. I'm next just going to turn on this small frying pan here, and I'm going to add carefully 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds and just let them toast off. It'll really sort of release the flavours. They'll be really tasty. The sesame seeds are not nicely toasted there, so I'm just going to transfer them to this bowl in order to let them cool down a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to prepare this chilli. Because we've added the hot habanero sauce, I'm going to slice this chilli down the middle because I don't really want to add the seeds, because the seeds are the hottest part of the chilli. So I'm just going to remove the seeds. There's not that many actually in this little thin chilli, and all I'm going to do is finely slice it, but make sure you keep your fingers out the way. So slice your whole chilli into thin strips, like so. So it looks nice and fine like this. Same with the garlic, nice and fine. 2 cloves of garlic, keeping your finger and thumb out the way. There we have some nice chilli and garlic. That is going to go into a warm pan. I'm going to transfer that over now. What I've done is I've halved the mushrooms, so I've got 200 grams of mushrooms also going in there. And I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of sesame oil. Okay, so mushrooms, onion, and garlic and chilli has been frying for about a minute. I'm going to go in with the marinated beef. So remember, this had the barbecue sauce on and the hot sauce. So whilst the beef's frying away there, I'm just going to shred the Savoy cabbage. So cutting it into little thin sort of strips, you can see there, so it'll break up. What I don't want is the core, so I'm going to cut the core out of this. Remove that part, that's the core, and then continue to shred. Frying around is nice and sticky, been frying around for about 5 minutes. I'm just going to add this cabbage to the beef and give it a bit of a mix round. I'm going to transfer. Okay, the rice has had about 20-25 minutes there. As you can see, all the water is evaporated. We've got some nice fluffy rice. I'm going to transfer that into this hot pan. A little bit of soy sauce. I crack in one of the eggs. And give that a good mix round and a fry round. Fry up the rice with the egg. And to this pan, I'm going to add all of our sticky beef and mushrooms and Savoy cabbage. That all goes in there. Make sure you're getting all the nice crispy bits. Okay, final stage is to just nicely poach the remaining 4 eggs. So what I've got here is some salted, this is the same pan that we had the rice in, but I've added some water from the kettle, just on a nice little rolling boil there. Added some salt and added a little bit of vinegar as well, any vinegar would do. I've added a little bit of malt vinegar. We're going to transfer the egg using a little bowl. I think this is the best way to do it, to poach the eggs. The amazing thing about eggs is most substances, when you heat them, the forces get loosened, and we're familiar with the process of melting. However, these tiny little sort of protein globules in the albumin, in the white of the egg, when we heat them, they start to stretch out. So the forces between those particles, the intermolecular forces for the chemists amongst you, they get stronger. So as we heat the egg goes from being a liquid to more solid, which is a really unusual property. So eggs are absolutely amazing. So we just carefully, remember this water is very hot, transfer our eggs. Now I'm going to cook these for pretty much 2.5 minutes for me. You might cook them a bit longer if you want them a bit firmer. I think 2.5 minutes for these eggs is absolutely perfect. Okay, these eggs have had 2.5 minutes. As you can see, they're nicely poached. I'm just going to drain them on a piece of kitchen roll. Turn off that gas now. So carefully pop these eggs onto your rice dish. Be careful because they are hot. They continue to cook, so what's nice is to just break open, let the yolk start to float. And don't forget, remember we did some toasted sesame seeds right at the start, so you can sprinkle sesame seeds over the dish. Then, I don't know how authentic this is, but I'm also going to add some coriander, because I quite like coriander, and I think I'm going to serve it with a little bit of natural yoghurt just to temper the heat of the hot sauce. There you have it. That is the Korean style beef fried rice dish. Probably rate this as medium difficulty because you have quite a few different techniques to use.